Today, on the Science of Gaming, we take a look at one of the recurring creatures from the Legend of Zelda series and try and figure out what he is exactly. So the big question of the day is, what is Jabu-Jabu? In Wind Waker, his incarnation is clearly some sort of large anglerfish. More specifically, it's probably a female sea devil or ceratidae. But that's not the one I'm interested in. I'm interested in the one who has a very confusing internal layout that we have to deal with to get some sort of fancy stone. That's right, that's the one from Ocarina of Time. Accepting that most of the interior of his body was made simply as the layout of a dungeon and not as an actual anatomical representation of an actual sea creature, let's start with what we do know, looking at the outside. What we know is that he is very large, he's grey, lacking much pattern, and he has teeth. He also lives in some large body of water, obviously. All of these point towards some sort of shark, however there's two more considerations. One, he's got no dorsal fin. A dorsal fin is a large indicator of what should be a shark. Secondly, more importantly, his tail moves up and down, not side to side like a normal shark. These last points indicate that our large fish friend is not a fish at all, but actually a mammal, a whale or a dolphin of some sort. Knowing that he is actually a mammal, along with the fact that he has teeth, that narrows down the search quite a bit. My first thought was the sperm whale, one of the most well-known whales with teeth. However, looking at the head shape of the sperm whale and that of Jabu-Jabu, they're not very close. Jabu-Jabu has some sort of elongated snout, kind of like a dolphin almost. After a bit of research, I stumbled upon the giant beaked whale. There are two different species that are very similar, their main difference being their location. Baradius arnuxi are the southern pole species, and Baradius bardi are the North Pole species. Both are cold water mammals, which would make sense as the water of Zora's domain was able to easily be frozen. The whales also have teeth, and their general face shape makes them pretty similar to our friend Jabu-Jabu. Their mouths may not be quite as wide, but they have an elongated nose and bulge pattern similar to that of Lord Jabu-Jabu. I recognize that the similarities on the physical plane are far from a perfect match, so let's look at something else. Behavior. Well, we don't know very much about Jabu-Jabu's behavior. We do know how it eats, for one, by sucking in everything. This is a feature actually shared by the beaked whale, with what's known as suction feeding. Rather than capturing with their teeth, they suck their prey into their mouths. Not only do they share similarities in how they eat, they also share similarities in what they eat. Our real-world friends eat demersal fish, a fancy way of saying fish near the bottom of the ocean. These include certain types of ray, which is one of the enemies found within Jabu-Jabu. The most annoying enemies within that dungeon, however, were the jellyfish, which you had to get the boomerang to kill. Jellyfish in the real world live all over the place, including areas near the bottom of the ocean. The benthic comb jelly lives under the bottom at the ocean and glows blue, sharing similarities with that other enemy. An interesting note is that another species of beaked whale, the Cuvier's whale, is also similar to Jabu-Jabu and eats squids, which would help explain the presence of the big octo. As far as social behaviors, Jabu is limited to the Zoras, whereas the beaked whale would be in pods of 3 to 10. However, Jabu-Jabu is also some sort of deity or royalty, so it's not necessarily accurate that he would spend much time with other whales. However, he does spend time with the royal Zora family, which will bring them up to a group of 3, with Ruto, the king, and Jabu-Jabu. Let's make a final recap of what we figured out so far. First of all, they share the outside characteristics with the whales. Secondly, they share the eating behavior and diet. And thirdly, they share some social behaviors. Finally reminding you that none of this is for sure. First of all, we're working in a fictional universe, one that humans can't really interact with. We're rather limited in what we can know. Without some sort of DNA sample, outside view and some insight to behavior only goes so far. We can theorize and hypothesize as much as we want, but we can't say for sure. However, just because we can't say for sure doesn't mean our idea isn't plausible and well supported. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.